I'm Lee Wright, the president of TWIG, the Wright Improvement Group, and we're having another leadership conversation today. And what I wanted to discuss today was leadership levels. And the question is there any differences between levels at the most junior level of leadership and the most senior level of leadership, which would be an owner of the organization? What distinguishes them? What makes one better than the other? What kind of programs do we have that support each level? And the big question is, as we move up in those levels of leadership, the C-suite or the ownership of a company, are we still rooted in the most junior level that's making that widget, I'll call it, for the customer to experience? Now, as we discuss this, let's think about the levels of leadership. The most junior level might be a team leader, and then it gets up to our supervisor. That's kind of the same levels. And then it's a thing to where you get into I think they call it middle management. Let's label it middle management. Middle management might be a project manager, might be a leader of multiple leaders, right? Within that leadership team, maybe have 2 or 3 additional leaders or supervisors that they have to make sure is on brand and creating those products and services. And then we'll go to the senior leadership, which may have, depending on the organization, it might have 4 or 5 different type leaders under that one leader. I would say 4 or more if I had to kind of label it. And then we go to the C-suite, vice presidents. We go to the senior management where it's kind of regional leaders, right? Where they might have multiple mid-level leaders. They might have several senior leaders that manage several teams. Let's talk about that. Well, I'm kind of shaping it. Depending on your organization's dynamics, you'll kind of understand what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say that. So now let's go back to the question or the scenarios that we may encounter. First, I want you to think about when you were first given that responsibility to take care of others, to help a company create what it created for its customers, a service or product, right? Now, how did you feel? Man, like I go from being a worker, be on a team, to being responsible for people, like different human beings, to get that job done. Wow, that takes some work, and that takes some skill. That also takes some humbleness, being humbled enough to learn and say, hey, everybody's not like me. So let's think about that for one moment. Now let's go back a little bit, right? We always have to roll it back. What type of programs or processes did the organization or your leader use to mentor you, to develop you into being a good people person, to take care of those other people, to get work done, to get their job done, to get that product of high quality created? Yes, we got it. Now let's go ahead and get it out to our customers. What methods did they use? What projects or programs did they incorporate into your daily or weekly or monthly schedule? This is important because it shapes that person from being a team member into being responsible for teams or people. So that foundational base of becoming that leader, what programs did you go into? And just to let everybody know that the Wright Improvement Group, what we do, TWIG, we help people or companies do what they do better by helping them implement different programs or processes to help those teams and leaders be better in providing that product or services. And it's important to have those as early as possible in an organization, so as they create those succession plans, as they develop those leaders, it's built on caring, and it's built on creating those best possible products, getting the best out of people. I know it might sound cliche, but we have to slow down to ensure those programs are viable, right? And then they produce results, return on investments, right? That's important. So let's say that. Now, you remember when I can remember when I was first given responsibility for people. Oh man, it was like, okay, I've read the books. Yes. I've listened to my supervisor. Yes. I have observed other people. Yes. I got a plan. Yes. And man, I got stuff done, but something that I did not really pay attention to. I got good results from the beginning, but what I didn't pay attention to, that wasn't a priority, is, were the people happy working for me? And I'm not talking happy as in, hey, let's go work for Lee. I'm talking about happy knowing that they were producing things to help them grow and be better. They were working these hard hours to help them grow and be better, be good leaders. And I didn't have a leadership development program initially when I started being a leader. I had no clue what that even meant to incorporate it. I had no clue what it meant to incorporate that as training opportunities, as lessons learned on the spot, to develop those folks that were working hard to understand the why of, and understand how they are so vital to the pieces that I was growing and grooming them. Initially, I didn't know what that was. Even though I had been part of it, I didn't know how to implement it. So I wonder how many leaders out there, new leaders, go through that process of having no clue to making that determination to have a clue, or also making that determination like, hey, I'm winning, so hey, everybody that's part of my winning, they need to learn how to win too. If they don't learn how to win, it's not my fault. But I know I'm benefiting off their hard labor every day, right? We have to make sure as leaders that we understand the entire ecosystem of the lifespan of a leader. We have to understand it. That is, so let me say this. I talked about the levels of leadership initially when I first started. Is any leader more important than the other? And I know each leader right now pretty much is like, no, my job is hard too, just as hard as the vice president of this company. When was the last time they got their hands dirty? When the last time that they had to put up with the dynamics of local team structuring, local team motivating factors? They kind of, I think a distance is sort of created from the C-suite to that junior leader, where I wear the suits now. I wear the ties. Hey, guess what? When I come on the scene, just be ready. Even if I haven't spoken to you in the past or even ever spoken to you, be ready. You should know me by now. That was a song, right? If you don't know me by now, you never will. How are we shaping those leadership dynamics and team building structures within our organization? Have we created leadership levels that automatically distance us once achieved to that other layer that we came from? Or do we have a system that keeps us linked to each level? no matter where it is, the most junior or the most senior level, right? As a VP, as a senior leader, do I understand what that team leader is going through? And I'm not just talking about, yes, they're making this. I'm talking about truly understanding how viable they are and how much a good leadership program that develops them at that most junior level. Now, let's get into that. Let's talk about that for a hot second, then we'll move on. Remember when we had those folks that worked hard? Man, you're like, oh my God, you need to be a team leader. You'll move up fast in this company. And they said, nope, I just want to put this one widget right there. That's all I want to do. Place this one widget, and I'm the happiest person on the team. I wonder why that is. And I'm asking this question with the sincere question that I wonder why that is, where we have those folks that work really hard, but they don't want to have to do anything with leadership, being part of leadership. Is it us that's creating that within them? Or it might be something we're part of a plan. The company is part of their plan to do something else, to achieve other things, right? Or is it lack of a good development program that ignites their fire within to lead others? It has to be either or. Like, hey, I don't want to be a leader, supervise anything because I have different plans. And this is my job. I'm going to do my job the best I can, but my plans are different than, just this job internal leadership structure or dynamics. And then the other 180 degree is like, hey, I've seen the leadership in this organization, and I don't want to have anything or be any parts of it because it is not conducive for my growth and my peace of mind. We have to ask those questions. And that's one of the things that the Wright Improvement Group, that's what we do with that good business needs assessment. We'll jump in there and just, without judgment, kind of figure out what we can do to help make you do what you do better. And part of that is understanding the environment that you have created. That's why transparency is critical when we're going through this process. It's about business, right? It's not personal. It's all business. And it's good to be able to figure out business and distance it from personal gratification. It has to be about business gratification, right? So let's say that. Let's say we have that leader, and we're just at the junior level right now. But do they want to be part of this organization's mission statement, goals? I think the folks that are responsible for this mindset or state of mind of the employees have a big responsibility to make sure that there's systems out there that can help everybody ascend, right? Go to that point, that highest level in the company. And it's not just reserved for the few. It's reserved for everybody to be able to participate. You're talking about leadership at all levels, right? Is just because I'm a VP or in the C-suite, does that make me more important than that team leader down inside the office doing the final leg of the work to provide that product or service for the customer? Because if I'm in the C-suite or if I'm a senior manager, the last time that I done that end user of providing that product and service to a company or to a customer, it's been a minute. So there I go. Is the senior leader more important than the junior leader in an organization? And in my opinion, no, that junior leader is much more vital than me. And I have to ensure I have the programs and the support where I can continuously mentor, guide, and set that leader up for success with my hands-on intervention. And I say intervention meaning I'm going to inject myself to make sure I know what they're going through. And not intervention with the manager or the junior leader doing their job, but intervention and looking at the systems that I know that I had a part in improving. I owe that to them every day. Don't just create a program and expect that program or process or standard or policy to be the answer to creating the final mile, the final leg, the final go-between of that products and services from the employee to the customer. I have to go down and verify that this is the truth of quality of what we produce here. And man, I need to make sure of that as that senior leader. Now, once I know it's operationally good, yeah, I can let it go on autopilot for a little while, no problem. 60, 90 days, unless I gave that leader new team members, right? Gave them new employees, new staff, then I need to go down a little earlier because they may have discovered some with new staff that we need to be aware of, that I need to be aware of in my policy or in the standard of creating that thing. I need to be aware of that. Okay, got it. So what do you think? And what that voice, you remember we discussed having that voice throughout that organization. The critical part of the voice is just knowing, man, that I make a difference. And what I say when I ask in the request or what I mention, the company pays attention to. And figure that out. But I would say this to any leader out there. No matter what level you are not more important than that junior leader on the ground, creating the last go-between between the product and service to the customer. They are it. They are the most important asset that the organization has. That leader right there and that person creating it. Period, in my opinion. Now, hey, you can fight against it as much as you like, but then I think it goes into selfishness. If you fight against that, then it's about the person fighting against it, trying to get what they want out of the organization, and it's not, how should I say, it's not circled around that last level end user employee. I don't know, but this is how I feel. And I think it's maybe common of all good leaders. Make sure the newest person is the happiest person on the planet. We have to thank that new person that they trusted us to provide them with the quality of work life they needed to provide for their family. So they need to be happy, right? And what do I mean by happy? Good work environment, good outlook on career progression, having a voice, because without them, the product isn't created, the service isn't needed from the organization. So take care of that person at every level. Everybody to your left is more important than you being on the right, period. Now that's my opinion. The Wright Improvement Group, we help companies do what they do better. And that's one of the things of the mindset of leadership has to be, is that it's not about me. It's about them. Every day is about them. At no point in time do I ascend so far that I forget where the organization's quality, name, brand, and everything derives from. And it derives from that junior leader and that brand new employee providing and doing that last point of transition of the product or service to the customer. So Hey, in the information below, you'll have everything you need to contact the Wright Improvement Group. Call twig.com. Reach out, email us, get that good business needs assessment so we can help you do what you do better. Thank you.